Touchdown, Alabama, let's get it.
The process, no one can stop this. Hottest show in the streets, I bet you can't top this. Rammer, jammer, yellow hammer, come see how we rock this. Alabama fans the best, there's no way you can top this. Recruiting news and interviews, just sit back and watch this.
Recruiting news and interviews, just sit back and watch this.
The process.
Hey everyone, welcome into the final episode of the week. This is The Process, Crimson Tide Recruiting. I am your host, Justin Smith, the scouting and recruiting analyst for Touchdown Alabama magazine. Thank you guys so much for joining me. It's no better time to do so. Perfect time to hit that subscribe button below. Also, be sure to leave a like whether you are subscribed or not. I am going to be here on Touchdown Alabama's YouTube page on The Process every Tuesday and Thursday evening to break down the latest in Crimson Tide football recruiting news. On today's episode, I want to talk about a 2022 four-star running back out of who the Crimson Tide's new coaching staff is making a push for here in this 2022 recruiting cycle. I am also going to get the opportunity to talk with one of the Tide's newest cornerback targets in the 2022 recruiting class and three-star defensive back Isaiah Bunn. So I've got an opportunity to talk with Bunn and also talk about that four-star running back. But before we get into all of that, I do have to hit you guys with a few recruiting updates. So with that being said, let's get the process started. We have a couple of recruiting updates to get to today, starting with 2022 four-star offensive lineman Ernest Green out of St. John Bosco High School in California, releasing a top 13 and including the Crimson Tide. Green was originally offered by the Tide's former offensive coordinator Steve Sarkisian before he departed from the program and took a head coaching job at the University of Texas, but it looks as if the Tide are still in the mix with Green, although Steve Sarkisian is not with the program anymore. The Tide will also include in a top 5 released by 2022 defensive back Bruford High School product Isaiah Bunn. Bunn will get an opportunity to talk with us on the process a little later in the show, so be sure to stay tuned for that conversation with the 2022 defensive back out of Bruford High School in Bruford, Georgia. The Tide also recently offered another Georgia product in 2023 four-star running back Justice Haynes. I had an opportunity to talk with him a couple of days ago. He talked about why Alabama is one of his top offers at the moment. He also talked about his previous relationship with Tide's newest running back coach, Robert Gillespie, and he discussed why he feels the Crimson Tide are going to be a factor in his recruitment moving forward. You guys can check out that article over at touchdownalabama.com. But now we are going to roll into our conversation with Bunn, of course. We're also going to talk about a four-star running back in the 2022 recruiting class who the Crimson Tide are turning the heat up on. Well, let's get right into what I wanted to use this episode to talk about today, and that is the Crimson Tide's push for 2022 four-star running back Jovantae Burns out of Desert Pines High School in Las Vegas, Nevada. The Crimson Tide's coaching staff is showing and making it clear that they want to add another running back to their 2022 recruiting class after picking up a verbal commitment from five-star running back Emmanuel Henderson last week. And Jovantae Burns is definitely a prospect to know. He recently told me that the Crimson Tide's new coaching staff has turned up the heat on him. His exact words were, not that they have changed things around, got a new coaching staff in, they have started to recruit him harder. He also said that although they have made so many coaching changes, the name is still Alabama and it carries a lot of weight. So it looks as if the Crimson Tide are showing a lot of love to the four-star running back out of Nevada. When you look at Burns, he's a running back who possesses a lot of speed, has a track and field background. Unfortunately, his junior season was cut short due to spreads over COVID-19 inside the state of Nevada. But when you look at what the Crimson Tide's 2022 recruiting board looks like, they are recruiting several running backs here, and Jovantae Burns is definitely a prospect Tide fans need to know about. But I am also going to talk to 2022 three-star cornerback Isaiah Bunn out of Bruford High School in Bruford, Georgia, who the Crimson Tide recently offered but are showing a lot of love to here in this 2022 recruiting class. He currently has the Tide in his top 5. We currently have him on the line on the process. As always, we are so grateful to have any prospect join us, and we are grateful to have Isaiah on today. How's it going, Isaiah? I know you included the Tide in your top 5 recently, and you also recently got an offer from them. Going back to that offer, what was your feeling like when you got that offer from the Crimson Tide?
It was an amazing time. It's a really big school, especially where I grew up. It's a really dream school down there.
You recently got that offer from Alabama and you recently released your top 5. What was it about Alabama that made you feel comfortable adding them in to your top 5? Although you just recently got an offer from them, you are just starting to build a relationship with their coaching staff. What was it about that program?
Yes, sir. It's because really, as soon as I got the offer, they were already heavy on me, trying to get Zooms. Just really getting amazing communication, and that's really all I can say. This communication with the coaches, program is amazing.
Going back to when you first got your offer from Alabama, was there any parts of your game or anything that you brought to the table that their coaching staff was impressed by?
Yes, sir. They said they loved my speed, my playmaking ability, and the film they watched it. They just loved it ever since they put it on.
The last question before we let you go today, Isaiah. What is the next step for your recruitment? How do you feel you will go forward now that you have a top 5?
Yes, sir. Really, all I can do now is just build my relationship to June hits to when I can finally get up to schools.
That will do it for this episode of The Process. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. If you're not subscribed to Touchdown Alabama on YouTube, go ahead and do so now, please. Also, be sure to hit that like button whether you are subscribed or not. Then head over to touchdownalabama.com. Pick up your subscription today. With that subscription, you will be able to read all of our subscriber-only content. Also, get your hands on our yearly print magazine issue. Then head over to the Google Play Store if you have an Android device, or to the Apple App Store if you have an Apple device. Be sure to download the Touchdown Alabama app so breaking news notifications can be sent to your mobile device. As always, I am Justin Smith, the scouting and recruiting analyst for Touchdown Alabama magazine.
Process.